But let's get started then. Welcome everyone to today's webinar on how to grow your newsletter subscribers and your reach, we might add. So we're going to talk about the newsletter. Your newsletter, you know best what to put in your newsletter. So we're not going to talk about like the content itself. That's up to you. You're the experts in your industry. But what we will do is that we will talk about ways to get the newsletter as much attention as it actually deserves. Because in 2023, there are actually loads of benefits of having a newsletter. And we'll dig into why in a bit. But it does also, of course, as with every part of marketing, comes with a lot of challenges. And today we're going to discuss and go through the mistakes to avoid, how to avoid them, and how you overcome the challenges. Okay. So let me just introduce myself or let you know who's talking to you. My name is Heidi. I work at Storykit as a community manager, meaning I handle our owned channels, which is the emails, some digital events, the distribution of content in our organic social channels. And I also run moderate, in charge of our Facebook group that I think is very important, that I always mention before we get started. You're very welcome to join Video for Social Media on Facebook. You can search for it. It's a group with now 3,500, 600 video enthusiasts and storytellers, marketers, video marketers. And I try to, or us here at Storykit, we try to share at least weekly pieces of inspiration and how-tos and hopefully a lot of valuable content. Loads of Storykit users, you can always go there to browse ideas, ask for feedback, share your own knowledge, because we're all in the same boat and we're here to help each other out. So welcome to join. And this is the agenda for today, what we're going to cover. So I'll go through some of the top mistakes that people make and I've made myself, and what to do instead, what I've learned so far and what I've gotten to know after running a newsletter for a couple of years. Pretty recently started a new one, grew the subscribers pretty quickly, so we'll share how we did that. I will also share the framework that we use and that you can start using today to help you get more eyes on the great newsletter that you're already producing or thinking about starting. And I'll, in this webinar, show and make 3 videos and go through step by step how we do it in Storykit using, of course, our brilliant Storykit AI. And I'll try not to ramble so much so that we actually have time for a Q&A. Whenever you feel like it, ask a question in the webinar chat or the Q&A. I'll, if I'm attentive enough and I see them, I might answer them straight away, or I'll take them at the end. So what I've been hearing from some, not colleagues here, but people in the business, is that I think that newsletter has like a bad reputation in 2023, because since we're flooded with content in social channels, and social media is something completely different than what it was 5 years ago. I get the sense that it's kind of not outdated, but almost. But the thing is that it's actually still a fantastic marketing tool tool because it lets you directly connect with potential customers. It's like a direct and intimate way of sharing your thought leadership and your knowledge and your industry news and your product or service updates and your company news, all of that. And since there are 4 billion people in this world using email every day, it's a huge marketing channel that you should use. And what we saw in a survey that I don't have, that I haven't linked to, but it's in our article, or one of our latest blog posts. In the last 12 months, marketers have actually seen a 77% increase in email engagement. And I think that is because you own the newsletter, but the people subscribing to it are in control of what they want to consume and what they want to receive. So if they sign up for a newsletter, it's a very high intent that they actually want to consume your newsletter, and which makes it a very strong content channel. And compared to many other advertisements and marketing campaigns, it could be really cost effective and in return provide a high ROI. So I'm all for newsletters, and I hope you are as well. So I presume, or let's say that you have a newsletter, but it's not getting that much attention. We've all been there. It's time consuming to write a newsletter because producing the content itself, like writing the actual newsletter and producing all of the content that it might link to and setting up the design and all of that, that is what takes like the effort and the time. And that's what you're pouring your heart and soul and time into. So as I mentioned in the beginning, the distribution formats that we're going to talk about today they're not supposed to replace your newsletter. It's only about making sure that your newsletter that's taken time to produce gets as much attention as it deserves. But if it's not, getting more views, more subscribers is all about one thing: distribution. And we're going to talk about how to distribute it most effectively today. But what do we mean with distribution? Because I know that is kind of a ambiguous word. It means a lot of different things in different areas, but it really is getting your product and your message and your content in front of people. And this, of course, includes, you have to decide which channels or which platforms you're going to use, how to make it accessible for as many people as possible, and that it reaches the right people in the right time. Because you've spent hours crafting this quality content only to have it sit in an archive and make little impact on your business. It's the hard truth. That's what we're going to change. So some mistakes that a lot of people do, a lot of marketers do, myself included, of course, is that we're not telling people that we have a newsletter or why they should read it. We hit publish, and then we might try to market the newsletter in the newsletter itself. Like we're only using the subject headline or the title, and we're trying to convince people to keep reading while they're actually consuming the newsletter. And that's not really enough. And what's very easy to do is to only tell people that it's out there when you are publishing, not before, not after, not meanwhile. So the challenge is because of the harsh truth that no newsletter or article or any piece of content is going to market itself. That's what we have to do. And just because I know that my content exists doesn't mean that my audiences do. So the job isn't done when we publish. It's an ongoing job. And it might seem overwhelming, and it feels like now I got even more to do, but I'm going to do my very best to convince you otherwise. So what's the solution for it? Well, first of all, as I have said so many times, and including my colleagues at Storykit and a lot of other companies, is that one newsletter, one longer piece of content is a gold mine for content in your channels. Because the more you distribute something, the more reach you will get. It's beneficials in the, like, when it comes to the algorithms, when it comes to reaching more people, and more distribution also means that you get more insights, because the more you publish, the more you learn. You will make great learnings about what's working and what's not. And then there's not really sure how to express this properly, how to say this best, but there is such a strong power in bite-sized content, and that's what I think work harder, not smarter is, because if you're instead of just pushing out a text-heavy text piece of content, trying to convince someone to spend 6 minutes or hours reading something, slicing that up, chopping it up into more bite-sized, consumable pieces, you will get more distribution and you will make it more attractive to people. So the solution to all of this is really a distribution framework. This doesn't have to be like clearly written down. It doesn't have to be a big Excel sheet of different columns and colors, because we're all looking for like templates on how to structure our content, but just starting to think about trying to come up with a framework yourself is super helpful. And what that might look like, hope this makes sense. I'm not a keynote or slide expert, but what I do and what we do, and what has been working best for us is, of course, as you do with any piece of distribution or part of your marketing, is to define your goals. And those might differ. Like when you start out and you're trying your newsletter for the first time, you might just want to grow as many subscribers as possible. You love to see that number go from 0 to 2,000 in a couple of weeks. That's what we did when we started our LinkedIn newsletter a couple of months ago. We, of course, wanted to make sure that it reached as many people as possible, to see eventually if we could grow it, if we could try to make people read the whole piece of text to see how long they spend time reading something. And we grew the subscribers pretty quickly, because we made sure to market it a lot. But then we've kind of moved on to driving traffic with the newsletter instead. So now we're more about the clicks, since we've grown the newsletter pretty quickly. And then, of course, this is like marketing 101. You know all of this, but I think it's important to point out that it goes for newsletters as well, is to define your audiences. What do they want? What are they going to spend 6 minutes on reading? Why? What are their challenges? What keeps them up at night? How can you provide a solution to their challenges? How can you be of any help? And decide on the channels that you're going to use. Do you have to be on every channel? Do you have to market your newsletter on Instagram, or is LinkedIn enough? Or is your audience still spending a lot of time on Facebook? That's the channel you're going to go for. And which format is the most suitable one? Is it shorter text posts on LinkedIn, or is it 2-minute snippet from a webinar where you discuss your newsletter or some of the topics in it? and so on. And then, of course, structure the content. For every newsletter, what's your hook? What's your value points? How are you going to structure the newsletter? What information is the most important one? What should you put on top? What kind of CTAs should you have? Do you want people to sign up for something? You want them to download an ebook? Do you want them to sign up for a webinar? And so on. Or do you want them to, or like us, like we do, you want to drive traffic to your website? And then decide on your frequency. Do you think that you have content enough to do a weekly one? I mean, we all feel very productive and good about ourselves if we manage to produce and publish one newsletter a week, but maybe start off with once a month or every quarter. That's up to you. Just make sure that you're giving it attention it deserves. When it comes to newsletters, I really think that makes sense probably, but the quality trumps quantity in this area because of with a lot of other formats, marketing formats, quantity can actually trump quality sometimes, but that's another discussion. So this is a distribution framework. You can take a screenshot or you can Google it or see this in the slide deck that I'll send out after the webinar. And this is some stuff that I've learned so far through my years at Storykit, from starting a couple of newsletters. I've gained some insights that I want to share with you. So a common myth among content creators and marketers is that you can't repeat yourself and that you're afraid that you're publishing more than you should, more than you're afraid to tire people out. But new content doesn't have to be better than old content. It's all about repurposing, finding new angles. More distribution means more reach. So don't be afraid to repeat yourself, because by the time that you're getting really like sick of your message, or you feel like I've said this 1,000 times in 1,000 different ways, that's when your audience are actually starting to pick up on it. So get tired of what you're saying, and that's when other people are gonna jump on the wagon. And as I said, repurposing is key on social. One video, it can be 5 different ones. You can change some assets, you can change some sayings, you can formulate yourself differently every time. And that's really what's gonna do all the magic. And I'm repeating myself, I say this in every webinar and every like post that I write, but if you post something that's bad, no one's gonna see it. It's gonna go to the place where LinkedIn posts and Instagram posts go to die. You won't get any distribution because people are not gonna find it valuable enough, and that's okay. But if you publish something that's good, you're gonna get a lot of distribution because the platforms are gonna think, oh, people are picking up on this. They're actually watching the video for more than 10 seconds, or people are engaging with this. Let's push it out to even more people. And knowing what's going to take off beforehand is like more or less impossible. You'll just have to see what resonates with people. So keep trying, do stuff 1,000 times, and you will learn what works. I've posted a lot of stuff that didn't really hit the fan the way that I wanted to. And that's fine. It's a learning. I've tried 10 ways of saying the same thing in one video, and then 2 actually works out. So don't be afraid to repeat yourself, and don't be afraid to try stuff out. Okay, we're gonna create today 3 videos. And these are the 3 examples that I just put together a week ago or something. It took me a couple of minutes, but I've used our newsletter about newsletters. So that's a bit meta, and it might not make a lot of sense, but it will hopefully when I show you what I've been doing. But our newsletter was about growing newsletter, because it's like the main article for this webinar, it goes with it. So as you can see, also I've been using pretty much the same assets in every one, just to show that you can really present the video in 3 different ways, even though you just have like 3 short video clips. And I've been just trying to find 3 different angles, or actually the AI did it for me. So in a couple of minutes, I had 3 videos, and I can make 2 versions of each. That's 6 videos. Mind you, I work with words, not numbers, except when it comes to reach. So then I got content for 3 weeks if I want to post twice a week when it comes to the newsletter. So I'm gonna jump out of my slide deck, because I think this was the last one. And then I hope you can still see my screen. If not, shout out, give me a shout out. But we're gonna go straight into the platform now. I've created a folder. I'm in my client called marketing, and these are the videos I made a week ago or something. But now today we're gonna do it from scratch. So I'll walk you through it step by step. So I'm gonna click new video, and this one I'm gonna name HubSpot push. I don't know, because there are different ways to structure a newsletter, obviously. One thing that we tried out for some time was to more or less just post an article that Maddie here at Storykit had written, and we just pushed that out as a newsletter, so it would be consumable like in the feed on LinkedIn. I'm talking LinkedIn newsletter here, but there are different ways. And that's pretty text heavy, so a week ago or something we decided to try something new, and that was just to shorten and like condense the long article, and then give people like a sneak peek into what the article was about, with the links to the full article, like the guide. Hopefully that will drive some traffic. That's what I'm hoping for. But today I'm going to try out to use maybe not like a more regular kind of newsletter, but the ones that I get the feeling that I receive the most, which is like, I'll show you, but it's a longer newsletter with a lot of links. So we'll see how that goes. I'll just go for the 1:1 format. I'm going to choose my theme called, where are you? I have a lot of themes here. Can you see? Where? I should add some like background music here. I'm sorry. It took me a minute. I'll just go for the no filter one. Okay, right script. So I have a newsletter here from HubSpot. I like those. I received it to my work email, and here it is. This subject spoke to me because I'm trying to get better at writing AI prompts, and these were 50 examples, and you can see that they're like, I hope you see this. If not, scream at me. Basically, they're like trying to just push a lot of different articles, a playbook, and drive traffic to their website. So I'm going to take this bunch of text, copy it. And since I'm not going to market this myself or claim that it's mine, I can just use it for today, I was thinking. Okay. Oh, let me also mention, maybe if this has been released to all users. Well, you'll get a sneak peek. Oh, I have a raised hand. I got a reaction. Okay, I hope that was from my product marketer, Turkey. That she says that it's fine. Let me see. Turkey says it has been released to all users. Great, thank you, Turkey. So let me just quickly mention this, that now there's a new feature in Storykit that you can include stock assets and music. And this goes for every stock library there is. So even, correct me if I'm wrong, Turkey, but even if you're even if you don't have a subscription that includes video blocks, this one's for you. You will get stock assets from there as well. So it will actually, based on my script, include stock images and videos and come up with a song that I think goes with the script. Because I think I've mentioned this before, but if a video takes me like 3 minutes to make, I'm going to spend 20 more on trying to find good video assets if I don't have any on my own. So that can be a bit time consuming. So I don't have to do that anymore. And then you can always change if you want to fine tune something or like make it if you feel like having something else. But I'll include stock assets and music so I don't have to browse them for myself. So it's by default highlighted the blank AI powered script. I'll go for that. And now we're in the AI maker. So I copied the whole newsletter from HubSpot. I'm gonna paste it in here. And up here, I'm gonna choose the creator that I want. And these are, the categories of creators are based on the input that you're giving it. So is it a press release? Is it a recruitment ad? Is it a case? Is it your blog article? Is it something that has to do with your e-commerce? That's the next webinar. Welcome to that one. But here, down here, we have newsletters. So we have 2 creators based on which output you want. So there's 2 of them. I've taken some notes, so I'm going to look down here. I think we're going to start off with today's best. And this creator makes like a promo script for a newsletter issue. And this one's going to focus on the big 3 news items and work with them in the headline, in the kicker, and the first part of the script. If you want more control, you can use the instruction, optional instruction down here, to sharply focus on one specific news item. And then it will move the 2 other main items into the kicker. But it will also mention other news to give even more reasons for someone to sign up and subscribe and click on. It's going to mention the name and issue of the newsletter in the kicker directly in the beginning. So we'll go for a headline, a couple of paragraphs, and then of course a CTA. So we'll jump into that. We'll choose, I'm just gonna click away my Q&A here. Or not click it away, but just move it a bit. So as you can see, this HubSpot newsletter has like 1, 2, 3, 4. And you know, what I've learned the hard way is that what we want to do is lead by value, with value. So I'm not really going to make anyone sign up for my newsletter if I start a video off with sign up for a newsletter, because people are going to wonder, well, why should I? Why would I want to read your newsletter? And so I have to start off with something of value, something interesting to them, something that will teach them something new. Okay, let's see. So it's taken HubSpot's long article with a bunch of links and picked out what works best for this. So it has used the headline and it turned it into a creative and attention-grabbing headline that used the most important news item, probably the one that you structured first in your newsletter, because that's where we want to put the most focus. if the newsletter headline is something like Storykit newsletter number 3, it's going to go for a summary of the most 3 important news. So if I've named my newsletter Storykit newsletter edition number 5, and then I have 3 news in it, it's going to grab something from the 3 and make a headline out of that, because this one is probably a bit smarter than me, because it's our product owner that's actually created this AI himself. So let's see. Unlock the latest AI and marketing strategies. Yes, please. And then it's chosen, it's giving me a kicker from Elf's Gen Z success to navigating the recession, catch up on marketing blogs May 10 issue. So since this comes from the source, the sender is HubSpot, but the name of their newsletter is marketing blog. It's chosen that. And then it's given me 2 paragraphs of all of the stuff that we can learn. And it's given me a CTA to subscribe to the marketing blog today. I would love to. Today didn't give me any assets, but I'll autofill them. Add an image to this. Okay, we'll click on, oh great. It gave me 2 examples of assets that I can use. Yes, please. I can see down here in my storyboard preview what it's going to look like. I think it looks really good. I'm going to go for this one. View storyboard. And here it is. Create it. I'm done. I made a video now in 3 minutes. And I can make 10 today's best in one morning. And then I have content to reach more people and to convince people to sign up for weeks ahead. I think that's pretty good. Let's see if it chose a song for me. It did. Ooh, Serenity piano solo version. I guess that works. We'll save it. And I'll create it. I don't think I'm missing anything here. I think it all looks pretty good. The assets are fine. I love the swipe plate slide. I can do, of course, some small edits in the design. For example, when it comes to the flip text, I like having a border around it. I think that makes it look a little bit more aesthetic. So I'll choose that. And of course, I can also do some of these edits, like how I want to structure the text. If I want maybe a medium font size and not large, I can just do that in the previous, in the storyboard section. But I think this looks sweet. I click on create video and let's do one more. I have been talking for a while. I have a tendency to do that. But let's at least do 2 AI videos. We deserve that. Okay, new video today. This time I'm gonna go for, let's see what I saved. Yeah, I have a newsletter from Justin Simon. You should follow him on LinkedIn if you're interested in distribution. He has some really good points on why you should produce less and distribute more, which I'm all up for. So as you can see, this differs a bit from the HubSpot newsletter. It has a bit more of a text on platform kind of style, a couple of links, but more like consume the text itself right here. Down here, there was a lot of links, but it's a different kind of newsletter. So I think that would be interesting to use as well. So I'm going to name this just Simon, let's see if I find my theme within 10 minutes. I did. Making progress and write scripts. Include stock assets and music. I would love to. Create script. Let's go back to the newsletter. I'll go for that text. I haven't listened to his podcast yet, but one day I will. Okay, very cool. I'm going to choose the other newsletter creator, which is Main and More. Let's see what we have to say about that, so you get to know it a little bit further. Oops. I'm sorry. I'm here. Main and More. This creator is more in medias res, and it goes directly to talking about the main news item in a newsletter. So it's more direct, and it tries to catch people's interest that way. And it talks a bit more about that main item that you have. And you can always, of course, specify in the optional instruction what you want it to focus on. So he has a bunch of great stuff to say in here. Oh, yeah. Sorry. I looked up the word safe friend. Stuff happens, right? So I could tell the AI to focus on how to pivot from content creation to distribution first, or why not the 4 ways that Justin can help me. But I'll just choose Main and More. It's gonna give me a lead about the single number 1 news item. Doesn't make any mention of other news. So this is also a way for me to produce 5 videos out of 1 article, because I can focus on different parts of the newsletter each time, which is great because different parts of the newsletter are going to resonate with different people. So that's a lot of content for me. Okay, but let's see. Great script. Now we're going to have a look at this one. The HubSpot one is done. I'll show you. So it's 34 seconds, which is perfect for just a short article push. Unlock the latest AI and marketing strategies. Some more about what's going to be in it. If I was HubSpot, working at HubSpot, I would obviously choose a HubSpot theme, but I'm in my own now. Discover global marketing playbooks, AI tools, why AI ethics are important for advertising. Plus get more news and tips. So the thing here is that it takes me no time to distribute my newsletter because the videos are made so fast. Let's see what the Main and More gave me. Listen to the episode on distribution first, that's the podcast, and get a powerful sense of peace. Reduce complexity, switch to distribution first approach to marketing to free up your time and energy. That would be lovely in the summertime. We discuss content distribution strategies, avoiding burnout. So it's really given me, it's taken one of the main news in the article, and I can do this 1,000 times, and it will give me a bunch of new ideas every time, which is perfect for distribution. Let's see how this look. I think I like the first one here, reduce complexity, and it's giving me the simple slide, which looks great. Listen now and subscribe. View storyboard. I like it. I'll create it. And if you have a newsletter like the ones that we do, oh, I forgot to fill in the, okay, we'll just go for some cool assets here, because it's all about freeing your time. So you have the time to go on a vacation with an airplane or dance on a rooftop. That sounds great. I can now produce and schedule content for the weeks that I'll be on vacation. So I can sit on the plane to wherever I'm going and feel relaxed, because I know that there will be high activity and a frequency in the publishing during the summer weeks. So the fallback when I return in August won't be as hard as it would be with the algorithms if I hadn't published anything. Cool. Music explainer and tutorial videos is the recommendation. It's actually named that. Sounds great. I'll create this video as well. So there are two creators for your newsletter. Is Today's Best and Main and More. But as I was saying before, but interrupted myself because this brain works in mysterious ways. If you have a kind of newsletter that the ones that we do on LinkedIn, that's used to be a lot more text heavy, like the whole article in one bunch, you could of course go for the SEO blog and evergreen creators to make like a simple trailer or some key takeaways, and then you can with that post in the CTA make people subscribe. So this is one of the this is a little bit of the stuff that we have in our newsletter. Here's a little trailer for it. Make sure to sign up and subscribe. So even though there are two creators named newsletter, there are so many more you can use. I think it would be totally fine if I took Justin Simon's newsletter text and chose the important quote because it's written himself, or the SEO summary. I've been talking now for 45 minutes, so I will try not to take up so much of your time, but we could do that if you choose to stay. I don't know if you can hear this music, but it's a banger. Reduce complexity and switch to a distribution first approach to marketing and free up your time and energy. Sounds great. So that's a marketer, and he can dance because he has so much time on his hands. So 2 newsletter distribution videos in one sitting. I just got intrigued now to see what it comes up with if I choose another one. Back to the marketing client. If you have somewhere to be, feel no shame in leaving. I love that you came. And as I said, write any questions in the chat. Justin Trailer. What's the name? I'll just go for my white logo then. Write script. And then I'll go back, take this text again. And we'll see what happens when I do a summary. Like that. Let me check there are no questions so far, but please write one if you have one. Make sure to try my best to answer. There is one webinar more before we leave for summer vacay, and that's on July 13th. So in 2 weeks, and we'll be talking about how to turn your one product page, like your website where you're selling your favorite sports bra, turn that whole product page into a full funnel marketing video campaign. So please join us then. So it took this newsletter by Justin Simon, and it made a summary out of it. Justin puts his stake in the ground and no longer wants to publish new content 4 times a week or share content on every social channel. Instead, he prefers to create one thing and distribute it effectively. I like that. I'm not gonna do this video now because I'm gonna let you off the hook. I'll put my stake to the grind and I'll stop sharing. But we have made 2 whole videos and a half. I I really want to thank you again for coming today. Even though I can't, this is a very much of a monologue. I enjoy it talking to you. So I'm gonna let you head out and have your lunch. Oh, something in the Q&A. From Sandro, will you bring back the AI script thing where the AI was able to scan an article based on a URL? We'll love to see that again. So sorry, Sandro, you want bring back the AI scripting where the AI was able. I know that it's in the pipeline, and I hope I can say this. But yes, the idea is that eventually you will be able to, I can just go for this URL, put it in the AI, and it will scan the whole website, the whole URL, and a video will be made out of that. I'm not sharing my screen anymore, so you didn't see the article that I was in, but I hope you get the idea and that I answered your question, Sandro. I'll see you in 2 weeks on how to turn your one product page into a full funnel campaign. We'll make top of funnel awareness videos, we'll make consideration videos, and we'll make action videos. Thank you. Bye.